Next, I'd like to introduce a friend to the KCC who has just been just phenomenal in support of our group. Whatever we do, whatever we asked, Ed Royce was just there. And Ed Royce was there because Ed Royce has one of the greatest staffers for the last 20 years. And not only is she a great staffer, she's a Korean American who has the heart for the North Korean human rights, just like us. And why? Because she wants the suffering to end. And I'd like to introduce to you Young Kim.
Thank you everyone for being here. You may know, just yesterday, the United States Congress passed the North Korea Human Rights Reauthorization Act, and it's been sent to the White House on President's desk to be signed for reauthorization, I believe for the 4th time since it was first introduced and passed in 2004. So I want to thank all of you for your persistency and dedication to this issue to make sure that our population speak for the voiceless people. As you know, as Korea is front and center of the foreign affairs policy lately, it is really important that we continue to speak out on this issue. We all fully appreciate the critical concern over North Korea's continued development of nuclear weapons program, but it no longer threatens just our Asian allies, but also the American homeland, including my fellow citizens in Southern California. However, there is more that is sinister about the Pyongyang regime than its weapons mass destruction. The brutal treatment of the North Korean people by Kim Jong-un and his massive police state stands out as the #1 human rights violation in the world today. An estimated 200,000 men and women and children, including underground Christians, anguish in horrific conditions in North Korea in the place called Gwaliso. And their anguish cries should never be ignored. Thinking of such a large number enduring this abuse can be mind-numbing. Soviet dictator Stalin once reportedly trivialized the suffering of the many, stating that the death of one man is a tragedy. The death of millions is a statistic. So let us examine just few of the individual tragic deaths caused by the murder by the Pyongyang regime. You remember our fellow American, University of Virginia college student Otto Warmbier. He returned just a year ago to his grieving parents after suffering and being tortured by the abuse in Pyongyang, only to pass away within a week of his return. And you remember the Christian missionary, Reverend Kim Dong-sik. He was kidnapped on the Chinese border into Korean Gulag in 2000. His only crime was to carry on the words of Jesus Christ to be merciful by providing assistance to North Korean refugees. He reportedly died of starvation, torture, lack of medical treatment at a North Korean military base. His body was never recovered. And you guys remember the United States Army Captain Arthur Boniface. He was killed in the X murders in the DMZ in 1976. And you all remember Yu Kyung-si 여사님, the former South Korean First Lady who was assassinated by a North Korean agent in Seoul in 1974. And how can we forget, just a year ago, there was the highly publicized murder of Kim Jong-un's own half-brother using chemical agents in front of a large crowd at an international airport in Malaysia. These are just some of the most infamous examples of the tragic deaths of individual victims by Pyongyang regime. These murders have continued unabated under the new regime of Kim Jong-un. Just like father, just like the son. So let us pledge here today that these and other victims of the North Korea's Kim family will not be forgotten. We cannot forget them. Those languishing in the death camps will not be forgotten. Right? We won't forget.
We won't forget.
Those suffering starvation and malnutrition, including children, will not be forgotten. We won't forget.
We won't forget.
North Korean refugees on the run in China, Mongolia, Southeast Asia will not be forgotten. We won't forget. We won't forget. And women refugees being sexually trafficked on the Chinese-North Korean border will not be forgotten. We won't forget. We won't forget. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to continue to speak for the voiceless of the North Korean people. This is our pledge. This is our sacred duty. Let's keep fighting for our brothers and sisters in North Korea. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, we have our interns, and what do you want to say?
Thank you for being the voice for human rights in North Korea.
All right. Congressman Ted Yoho, come on up.